What's up everyone, Coach MccDann here. Today's workout is intended to focus on the advantage state for characters from the Zoner archetype, where we cover how each Zoner character's projectiles and special abilities help each player maintain their own space, as well as create situations to earn them stocks, all while controlling the stage. For our warm-up, we're going to try out something new. Play 3 offline games against a CPU with a level of your choosing, and pick a character you're unfamiliar with that is from the Zoner archetype, and explore what value their projectiles and other options offer when contesting your opponents. Playing a Zoner character tends to challenge most players depending on their understanding of how their archetype is expected to perform. The advantage state of a Zoner archetype character involves focused concentration on utilizing a character's special moves to their fullest potential. This involves maintaining leads through the use of walling out opponents with their projectiles, creating space with said projectiles, intimidating your opponent, and in general doing what is required in high percentage situations to finally close out a stock with strong attacks, or even other projectiles themselves. If you aren't too certain on how the Zoner archetype characters perform, no worries, because I've created a uniquely curated exercise related to Zoners that focuses on just that, so definitely check that out on the Game Gym app before going forward. Zoner archetype characters typically follow a systematic behavior within the confines of advantage state. There's plenty of situations that a Zoner can create when they have their opponents in disadvantage to ensure their opponent has to approach them with a deficit in the game, as well as essentially force interactions that aren't even necessary to put more damage on their opponent, all through the use of their projectile-based kits. It's always good practice to recognize good positioning on stage for Zoner characters, and when or when not to insinuate your approach options when the time is right. Zoner players that sustain a certain level of being spontaneous will always have good chances of tripping up their opponents. For our next drill, play 2 offline games against a CPU with a level of your choosing. Focus on using a character's projectiles or special abilities to create a distance between your opponent. Try to learn an opponent's habits and punish it with projectiles. For Zoners, there will be many instances where the opponents will attempt to close the gap between them and force their aggression. These scenarios are best handled in a more defensive manner, through the use of their out-of-shield attacks, and find another opportunity to reset the situation by retreating back to the opposing side of the stage or platforms. Some Zoner characters also have attacks that serve as incredible punishes for opponents attempting to recover back to stage in a safe fashion. So don't be too overly cautious just because you're playing a mechanically defensive-based character, but just pick and choose your battles wisely. Okay, with all that said and done, let's put our efforts to the test. Play 3 to 5 games with a level 9 CPU, and focus on keeping your CPU opponent in the air, at ledge, and on the outside of the stage. This process of learning to maintain advantage state with Zoner characters will vastly change over time, depending on each opposing archetype and characters you fight, so be sure to head into each game without the need to rush your progress. This is Coach MccDann, hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and until next time.